Welcome back to The Joint, where we're going to do a quick Watchbox update. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Justin's Joint, the dumbest channel in all of the YTPC. And I'm going to prove it today by not talking about pipes or pipe tobacco. We're going to talk about watches. But first up, we got to get out of the way that I am smoking my Aroma with some GLP's Stratford. Good stuff. Not necessarily my favorite pipe tobacco, but it's not bad, and I happen to have a lot of it, so I might as well smoke some of it once in a while, right? Okay, so I'm going to take a swig of coffee, and then we will get going right now. Alright, so since we're talking watches, I suppose it's only fitting that we do a quick wristwatch check, and right now what I'm wearing is my SKX009 on the Jubilee bracelet by Seiko. This honestly is one of my favorite watches. It just is... It's simple, it's elegant, it does what I need it to do. What more can you say? And I've had this for several years now, and it still looks like it's brand new, so... That being said, we're going to kind of stop talking about that and jump over to the Watchbox collection here. And I've got just a couple of new pieces that I think I haven't showcased here yet. So let's go ahead and get to the first piece right now. All right, we have switched positions. We are over here lined up with the Caminator 5000 camera shot. And we're just going to start pulling out a couple of watches. So let's just get started with the first watch. This watch right here is a Cadola 1946 Spear Fisher. Now this is actually part of a limited series. This is number, let's see if I can see, 31 of 250. You might be able to catch it right there in this box. But this watch retails for quite a substantial amount of money, and I will tell you with all assuredness, I did not pay a lot of money for this. I mean, it was still up there, but the retail price, if you look these up on the website, if they even sell them anymore, I don't really even know, it's like $1,000. And I found this watch brand new in the box at the pawn shop downtown for $400. Now, some people might crap all over this watch because it says Swiss made on the dial right there. And realistically, this is kind of only a half Swiss made watch. It's like an imported movement from China that is brought to Switzerland and then disassembled and reassembled with Swiss made parts. That way they can say it's a Swiss movement. And I'm having trouble keeping this in the shot. So some people might crap all over that and say, it's not really Swiss. And you know what? To some extent, I can understand that. But I didn't pay very much for this particular watch. And honestly, the time that I've spent wearing it, I really, really enjoy it. You know, it's not super fancy. It's not super special. The second hand jitters a little bit once in a while, and from all I've read about this particular movement, that is all normal. So nothing really out of the ordinary. The movement inside of this watch is a CL888. And as far as I know, the company that makes that movement is no longer in business, which makes me wonder if you can actually even get these watches anymore. I'm not for certain. I don't really care. Again, I found it at the pawn shop, and I liked it, so I bought it. So that is watch number one that I have to show you guys. The other thing I really like about this watch is the double-domed crystal. It's just nice to look at. I like everything about it. The other thing that I really like about this watch is the 3, the 9, and the 12 numbers. There's just something about having those numbers there as opposed to just regular indices that's kind of nice. And, you know, there's a good amount of lume on there. It's not super bright or super long lasting like a Seiko, but it lasts long enough that and bright enough that you can still see it after an hour or so in the dark, which is kind of cool. So that is watch number 1 that we are going to show you, and I'm going to put this away, and then we're going to jump to watch number 2. We got to take a quick coffee break. Can't let the coffee get cold, and we got to relight the old pipe here. The Stratford. You know, at first I didn't like this stuff, and I didn't smoke it for a really long time, and the more I smoke it, the more it grows on me. You know, it's kind of become one of those blends that I don't smoke very often, and it's one that I probably am not going to buy anymore, but I have a lot of it, so I might as well smoke it, and the more you smoke it, the more you start to like it. It's kind of one of those catch-22 situations. You know, you have to smoke it to like it, but if you don't like it, you don't smoke it, if that could be considered catch-22. Anyway, whatever, I'm going off on a wild tangent. We're not here to talk about pipe tobacco. We're here to talk about watches. So let's go ahead and jump to watch number 2 that I have to show you guys today. Okay, guys, the next watch that I have to show you is something that I have actually been kind of in the market for lately, and a deal just happened to come up, and let me just give you the backstory. So I like to visit pawn shops, I like to visit thrift stores, just because you never know what you're going to find in there. So the same pawn shop that I go to where I found the Cadola, I found this watch. Now, I had no intention on buying this watch the day that I went in there, but it was one of those too good to be true prices, so I was a little bit hesitant. I went ahead and looked it over real good in the store, and it seemed good, it seemed okay, and the next day I took it to a watchmaker who then confirmed that it indeed was what they said it was, and that would be a Rolex Datejust 41mm. This is a reference number 116300. It's got the azure blue dial with silver or white gold, I believe is what they are, Roman numeral indices. It is a good looking watch. The Cyclops Eye. Now, the thing about this watch is it was at the pawn shop, so obviously you kind of have to take it as it is. This watch did not come with any papers or a box or anything like that. It's actually also, I think, missing like maybe 1 or 2 links from the bracelet. The bracelet itself, I mean, the watch you can tell has been worn. It probably could stand a good polishing. However, honestly, for what I paid for it, I'm not going to complain. Now, this watch, in its condition, based on the fact that it doesn't have box and papers and all of that stuff, you could probably expect to pay anywhere from probably like $5,000 to $7,000, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. So when I saw this for the price that they were listing it, which was $1,500, I just had to snap it up. So I snapped it up. And I snapped it up 95% sure that it was real. Like I said, I took it to a watchmaker the next day who opened up the case back, took a look at it, through his jeweler's loop, and indeed did confirm that it is the real deal. So it's pretty sweet to have this for such a low price. But as you can see, we've got the nice clasp here that opens. The bracelet on a Rolex, I didn't realize how nice these bracelets were until I actually wore one. And again, the whole thing just seems really shiny, even with the scratches and scuffs that are in it. I don't know, to me, it gives me the character. And the backstory to this watch is, I've been in the market for a Datejust. I actually wanted a Datejust 36. So I originally was in the market for a Datejust 36 with just the two-tone Jubilee bracelet. The what you would consider to say, look at that, that's a Rolex. The two-tone silver and gold. I was looking towards that because basically it was the more affordable option of the watches that I was looking at, and then this kind of just showed up. And I'll be honest, I walked in and I saw it, and I had just bought this watch like a week prior. So the lady working there already knew that I was into watches. I walk over to the case, and she was with somebody else, and she said, "Hey, I know what you're here for. You just wait. I'll be right over." So she walked over, pulled this watch out, and I put it on my wrist. Whoop, I guess I better take off my SKX. So she took it out, and I put it on my wrist, and it fit perfectly. It fit absolutely perfectly. Whoever had this watch before me had the same size wrist. So that was just divine intervention number one. The fact that it fit right off the bat without, any links taken out. I don't have the extra links that it came with, which doesn't really matter because this watch is never leaving my collection now. The reason I've been looking for a Rolex is to commemorate several things. This year in March marked my 20-year anniversary of me doing what I do for a career, which is bridge drafting. So, I've made a pretty decent career out of it, and I figured it'd be a good milestone to cap that off or commemorate that with a nice watch because I'm into watches. So the other thing is this bridge in Florida that I've been working on is finally under construction. It is finally actually happening, and before too long, any of you who happen to be in Miami, you're going to start to see it come out of the ground, and it's going to be something special. And I wanted to commemorate finishing off that design with a nice watch again. So here we go. And of course, this year marked the graduation of my daughter, which officially makes me an old man because I've got a kid out of high school. And so, boom, commemorate that bad boy with a Rolex. So, all of that combined with the fact that this just happened to show up and it was a too good to be true price, but it actually turned out to be true, meant I was just going to go ahead and do it. So that is it for the Watchbox update. I'm going to look through here just real quick. I'll probably give you some B-roll of the Watchbox as it stands right now. I've got quite a few Casios all of a sudden, so I had to expand. I 3D printed my own little Watchbox expansion just for some Casios. But yeah, we'll do that, and then I'll shift my position back over here to the normal spot, and we will cap this video off. So stay tuned. Well, guys, that's about it. Let me get this pipe relit. And go ahead and put the SKX back on my wrist here. Some of you guys probably aren't into watches all that much, but I've found that, generally speaking, pipe smokers at least have a little bit of an interest in wrist watches. It just kind of tends to go with the territory, I suppose. You're into watches, there's a pretty good chance you smoke cigars or pipes, and vice versa. If you smoke pipes and cigars, you're pretty good chance you're into watches. And I definitely fit that stereotype because I am into both. So that's it for today, really, guys. I don't have a whole lot else going on. You can stay tuned. Like I was mentioning, it's been 20 years that I've been doing what I do. So what I'm going to do is make a 3-video series of all of the bridges that I have worked on in my career, all the way back from 2001 clear up until current day. So you can stay tuned for that. But until next time, right here in the joint, we will see you guys later.